4 years ago, Shark Tank startup Beyond Snack catapulted to fame for giving a whole new look and feel to banana chips. A year after raising its first round of funding, the startup has opened a new plant in Karnataka's Tumkur district, quadruples its capacity to 600 tons per month. CNBC-TV18's Jude Sannith checks into the plant and speaks to Beyond Snack's co-founders on what it means for revenues and market expansion. Here's a slice of that conversation.
I have to ask you, 600-ton capacity is what you're looking at. Put that in context and perspective for me. Where were you before the plant was set up, and how do you scale up really with the new plant?
Currently, we have already established a 200 tons line, which is almost double the capacity of my existing capacity. And in another 1 year of timeline, you will see it going to a 600 ton, which is almost 4 times than my existing facility, what I had a couple of months back. Okay. For a business, it means approximately some 35 to 40 CR kind of a business per month.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'm glad you mentioned the number because I was going to ask you next, how do you plan to scale up the business? I know for a fact that your capacity explodes really with regard to this plant. You have plans, there's ample space of putting a couple of more lines. So where does business scale up really, and how do you go about achieving that?
We managed to scale up every year. We are actually growing twice as that of. We are doubling our revenue comparing to the previous year. But what we are seeing is from the market is that there is a huge demand out there. We need to really monetize this at this scale. We need to increase the scale of the growth, and that is really the reason why we are planning to set up a couple more lines in this facility.
So what is its revenue scale up likely to be, Manas? I read somewhere that you're targeting 100 crore in revenue this fiscal. If you could just break down these numbers for me and talk about what kind of growth plans you have for the brand.
This financial year end, we are actually planning to target a revenue run rate of monthly revenue run rate touching an ARR of 100 crore is what the plan is. This financial year end.
All right. I have to ask you, Jyoti, it's a very expansive plant that you have with processes neatly laid out. There is, of course, a proper supply line that you've got going for you. What is the speciality of the plant itself? I hear there's a fair bit of automation, very minimal interaction with regard to humans itself. If you could just take me through some of the key features of your new plant here in Tumkur.
My supply chain wise, my overall servicing time has significantly went down. If you talk about the in-house factory, right, you have seen that from the entry till the end, nobody is touching the product. It's a zero hand touch product. I have full control in this factory. Second thing is, as we always promote our product as one of the thinnest chips and the most highest quality product, right, you would see that we cut approximately at a level of less than 1 mm thickness, with such a great technology and innovation. So I would put that as on a forefront, that the third part is the technology and innovation in the factory is topmost. Nothing can beat that kind of quality when you have such a great technology.
So how many plant workers at the moment work here, and do you plan to scale up those numbers? What is the future looking like in terms of your workforce at the plant?
So currently I have 20 plus 150, right, direct plus indirect people. That's only for one line. We are already running in 3 shifts of operation. We run 24/7 except Sundays. So this line is fully ramped up. The scale will go 3 or 4 times based on how many.
All right. Manas, over to you. I know for a fact that you spoke about distribution being a key part of the kind of work. These 10 states. What's the expansion plan like, more so on the distribution front? Yeah. You have spoken in the past about ramping up distribution to a large extent to go to new markets. Talk to me about those plans. How are they shaping up, and what kind of timelines are you looking at?
So look at snack as a category, right? Snack is always an impulse buying product, and the success of any snack product is depending on how well you are placed closer to the consumers and how well you are visible in front of the consumers, right? That is what the GT, general trade, is going to be a much more complementing trade channel for a company like or a brand like us. And Beyond Snack from the beginning itself was always very pro about focusing on GT. On the distribution standpoint, right now we are at around 125 distributors at present when we are talking. And this year we will be adding another 50 to it. And the next year, we are looking to close somewhere close to 450 to 500 distributors. And that is a scale that we are actually planning. We have raised $3.5 million from NAB Ventures last year. And we are actually growing post that. Until then, we were always growing we were not able to give that befitting growth until that moment. And after the NAP Ventures round, we've grown substantially and we are still growing. So coming back to the point, right, going forward also we think that, okay, this category requires much more attention. And I'm sure that more players are going to enter into this category for sure. But, what we have noticed always is that banana chips never got it deserving attention because the product which is available out there was always, it was locally manufactured without any sort of standardization, without any sort of hygienic process established. Now that we are bringing it into a much more organized and a branded format with the trust of quality, this category is going to explode, and we are happy to say that we are pioneering in that particular event or that task.
So do you have a funding number in mind and a timeline in mind in terms of the future?
Yeah, absolutely. So going forward, we will be raising a couple more rounds. So we will be looking at around, I'm not sure whether I can, come up with a proper number, but yeah, definitely we will be raising another round, probably within a year time frame or something. Okay. And probably, around 10 mil or above is the number that we probably may look for to give the befitting growth to the Beyond Snack.
On that note, it's time for us to head into a short break. But coming up next, it's World MSME Day, and in a bid to raise awareness